So guys, we all know that the Efcc recently raided the office of the Dangote headquarters, and so many people have been saying their own version of what they think. Some people supported the move and some people have condemned the move.
Says the raid was suspicious and capable of worsening the economic situation and scaring investors away. Reports say that the Efcc is conducting a comprehensive review and investigation into foreign exchange utilization in the last 10 years, which involves scores of leading companies in the country that may have benefited from Forex allocation from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Like Mr. Ugochinyere has said, the Efcc was not supposed to have gone there, using the media and the security agents, that alone is enough to scare investors. While other people have praised the president for taking this bold step because they feel that the ex-CBN governor in the name of Emefiele did so many shady businesses with the person of Dangote. I mean, the leverage that they gave to Dangote, no Nigerian has ever gotten it. And one keeps wondering, should we be considering some businesses to be sacred cows while some other businesses will be the one to suffer all that has to be suffered in this country? So let me just allow you listen to the two versions of this side of the divide.
Got the information about the Efcc raid on Dangote's company. We felt a little bit that why the media drama, why go to a company that you have written to submit documents for you as it has to do with their Forex transactions for the last 10 years, and then you go there with about 300 more men, with media men and cameramen. I think we should go past this media razzmatazz in investigation. It does not help investigation, because here you have a company that have public investment. Here you have a company that foreigners have invested billions of dollars to get it to where it is today. When this kind of negative story, just because you are doing an investigation and you have already criminalized the person, we may have a situation whereby the refineries may be affected because there is foreign investors who have put in billions of dollars, and that will also make other people who want to invest in the downstream petroleum sector to be skeptical about the way we do our businesses and investigation. We also made inquiries to find out that this invitation to investigate Forex transactions was given to over 55 companies or thereabout. So if it was given to about 55 companies by EFCC, why go to Aliko Dangote's company with 200 policemen or 300 and then with Mopomen to cut away documents, send documents that you have also written and asked? And one thing about this document, every document about FX transaction with central bank, the EFCC have unrestricted access to this information. So what you would have done, you don't even need them. You would have just asked central bank to give you the FX transaction in the last 10 years. And then when you do your investigation and there are some areas that you find discrepancies, you cannot even start inviting the company. So I thought that the way the company was raided is unhealthy. It's also wrong, contrary to our desire to attract foreign investment into the country. And coming at this particular time, I feel the motive is not just investigation. Maybe somebody does, because even before they got there, the news was all over the place that it's a business place. Every country encourages their investors, especially indigenous one.
Okay, let's have this conversation with Associate Professor of Law, Sam Amadi, who is a RISE analyst and also the Director of Abuja School of Social and Political Thirds. Sam, very warm welcome to Newsnight. I mean,
thank you.
The usual, would you call these sting operation, fundamental breach of rights, EFCC barging into companies with hundreds of security operatives? Why that?
But like we all know that so many Nigerians know that Dangote has really been enjoying so many benefits from the Nigerian government, and those benefits are not being given to other citizens of the country. And one keeps wondering if this country belongs to a particular set of people. And now this government is saying that, they want to, crack down on those businesses that, that have been gaining some benefits that other businesses do not get.
That says Dangote
has breached any law. Yeah.
So the fact that EFCC decides to investigate the matter, they follow lead. So assuming there are statements that show that Dangote benefited from, don't forget, the script here is preferential allocation. So it might be that each of those people got it rightly, in which case the investigation will show that actually
allocation was done rightly. And it's been taken back 10 years in the last decade.
So this is like a policy audit. Now, if the National Assembly was active, half of this work it should have done the policy audit. The central bank is created under the Central Bank Act.
Yeah.
And under Section 84 of the Constitution to 88, the National Assembly oversight power is to go after agencies that have made law and appropriation those are fund for. So they should have been the ones who did this initial audit. About, look, we've been talking about this so-called Forex double standard, and it's antitrust, it's breach of competitive law. By the way, even the FCC, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, has a role to play here. Because if a central bank, let's assume, this is nobody's sure, gives preferential allocation, they are aiding some businesses against other businesses. They are giving you access to Forex at advantage, enabling you to import your raw material at a better cost.
Dangote conglomerate and raid the place with, you know, the number of security operatives. The organization is already being criminalized here
by this action.
Yeah,
I don't think it's criminalized. Look, if I was the EFCC chief, I will look at the evidence. Where is the big issue happening? Don't forget that the Dangote 660-something thousand barrel per day
petroleum refinery company, yes,
is being financed with some support of the central bank. Okay?
The Nigerian government invested. But they invested. Good, so you wouldn't say
but it passes through
it's an investment.
I know.
Yeah.
No criminalization. So it creates a sense in which you can say Dangote is more important than XYZ company in terms of Forex. So let's not prejudge EFCC and let's not prejudge Dangote. There's nothing in the world of law enforcement, what we call prosecutorial discretion. The agency looks at the map and say, where do we go first? It's possible that tomorrow they hit BOA. I heard that BOA is also later go to BAUA, later go to several companies. So yes, Dangote is big. Dangote is the corporate giant, and the perception that Dangote is being persecuted will be dangerous. That's why I said the EFCC has to come out.
Isn't that what it's looking like now?
But they should have to come out with a statement to say this is what we're looking for.
That's what the EFCC should have done.
This is what we're looking for. This is why we went to Dangote. This is what we're living on.
So, but in the eyes of the public, you're a lawyer, you know, Harvard graduate from the Harvard Law School. When you look at issues like this, you know, would you say this has been painstakingly done, singling out? Because all over the media, it's Dangote that we heard, and it's like, I still use the word, are they trying to criminalize this company and its ownership? I think
it's a mismanagement of public engagement and public communication. I think
from the EFCC.
From the EFCC. So they need to first come out, because perception, if you go after Dangote, you'll be seen in the build-up to all the issues around Dangote cement, Dangote.
Yeah, because this is a man who's built his conglomerate for more than 40 years.
So you need to come out and tell us there's a smoking gun.
Yeah.
That this is what we're looking for. We're not criminalizing, but we want to trace this. That's important, public disclosure. At this point, again, the second point is that I think the notion of investigation carrying too many officers storming the premises is old school. They should go there in a decent manner. And by the way, I heard Dangote say, we're going to bring it to you. They say, we want to come. That's fine. You go there with suit wearing operatives who go there, meet with the management, get what we want, and then tell people, this, we finish the operation, we're coming back, want to go and review. Clearly, and I totally agree with you, the perception will be that, look, like I said, the start point of this is the notion of government has incentive to investigate central bank. That's what they brought the social investigator, which in my view is not constitutional. If you look at what the Supreme Court, US Supreme Court said in Georgetown Steel and Tube Company, Justice Robert Jackson says, when the president is acting without Congress authorization, National Assembly, the Constitution, his power is very low. There's no presidential power to authorize intrusive investigation into companies, but even statutory companies. But the National Assembly has those power, and the EFCC has power. So I like the fact that EFCC is doing it with check and balances, but we need to see more transparency, we need to see more self-restraint in terms of physical show of force. So it doesn't look like somebody is going to intimidate Dangote, or this looks like an attack on a corporate giant, but it looks like clearly that government is tracing Forex is not necessarily criminal. By the way, if you have preferential allocation of Forex, it does not trigger necessarily criminal misdeed, because it could be a policy misdirection. The policy is neutrality, but if you preferential treatment for Dangote does not ipso facto amount to crime. So the notion that somewhere Dangote is going to jail is just, you know, neither here or there. The key thing that will come out of this is government making regulations to strengthen the use of Forex. For economic development, so that we don't have opportunity for preferential treatment that will destroy competition and lower value for customers and everybody, not just in cement, in other things, manufacturers. We should be able to have a level playing field. But that's the real incentive for investment. People know that, look, if you get into this market, you have a queue for allocation. You have rule-based allocations, whether it's of Forex, whether of expatriate quota, or even physical, credits that and tax holidays that you enjoy. Everything is clearly going to follow the rules. So I just hope that EFCC conduct these processes transparent, give us regular briefing about what's going on, and again restrain itself from showing too much physical force, stampeding and maybe obstructing corporate operations.
That definitely would have obstructed the company's
that's not the way to go.
Operation.
Absolutely. It's not that we need investment. We need to be thorough. We need to transparency, integrity, but without really showing that we are a criminal
universal
people.
Application of rules
and decent law enforcement strategies. Not look like that's going to be.
You are not going to raid a robbery there, a terrorist hideout.
Absolutely correct. That's true. And I think there should be now statement from each investigation. You tell us what you went for, why you did it. You don't have to give us details because you're investigating, but let people know that, look, we just had conversation with Dangote management on some issues. We are building up, looking for X, Y, Z. So far, it doesn't look really like that's a smoking bomb of criminality. This is basically 10 years of Forex misapplication has to be seen as a system that functionality.
As the government come to say that it's Forex misapplication and the rest.
The point, like I always say, that look, every government.
What new Forex have they generated? Nigeria's savings and what have you is depleting.
Well, the key point here is, look, let's give some good faith to EFCC, but the point is that they have to also know that people don't have confidence in the system anymore. People read political vendetta is writ large. For example, if you didn't put Emefiele behind bars for too long, if you had brought up a charge and proceeded transparently and clearly, and then one leads to another, and we're now looking for Forex investigation, people have confidence. Now everything is the smoke screen, the whole dust is around persecution, political vendetta. That's the problem with politicizing the process. And
so guys, it is not new to Nigerians that Dangote has been enjoying, this special status, amongst other businesses. I mean, the Nigerian government has favored him in so many ways. We know that Dangote has the monopoly over some certain products in Nigeria. I mean, they don't create room for competition. And now look at the Naira crashing because our economy is down. There is no productivity, and productivity comes as a result of competition. Where you don't have competition, one person is the only person that produces certain goods. And you could hear that the CBN gives him privilege when it comes to Forex. You can imagine the mess we are into, honestly.
Up to now, I am surprised we have not yielded any fruit, but by the grace of God, and I believe I have so much confidence in this administration that Mr. President Tinubu will do justice. We must face the fact that corruption that has eaten us, we have no reason borrowing money. And Emefiele, unfortunately, as a Federal Commissioner Code of Conduct Bureau, we investigated him. All these things you are talking about, this happened to be in our privy over the years. But unfortunately, because of bureaucracy, we cannot fight it to logical conclusion. It just started yesterday that Emefiele, as a matter of fact, different bank account with the dubious means of creating wealth for their own selfish interest, not for the interest of the generality of Nigerian people. If you see the poverty in our dear nation, It's as a result of the corruption that has eaten us deeply. And I'm happy that, Mr. President, I've already hit the ground running, that nobody will be spared. No one will be spared. I am supporting Mr. President. I want all Nigerians to support Mr. President, President Buhari. That enough is enough.
Honorable, when you say that the the CCB investigated the former governor, what do you mean by bureaucracy? Was it that he wasn't invited, it didn't come, or did someone ask you to stop the investigation? Can you throw more light on that?
That's a story for another day, you know. To be candid to you and to Nigerians, I lament for this nation, but lamentation will not yield any fruit or result, rather than being aggressive. But we must be able to be proactive, because we are a reactive nation. We must be proactive, put a preventive measure in place to contain and combat the menace of corruption. And that's what Mr. President is about to do, and that's what he's doing. I am saying, yes, we investigated the former governor of Central Bank, Mr. Emefiele. He cannot, and I can say this without missing words, he's one of those that I would say, unfortunately, we're in a country. If you had been that he's from somewhere like China or America, it probably would have been a different issue. But because of the Nigeria where we have found ourselves, that people will say, oh, he always told how much, leave him alone. Not only Emefiele, that the investigation that the Code of Conduct Bureau carried out, if we have followed it up, there's no reason Emefiele will be going back and forward to court, giving bail, and he should have been where he belongs. Because he derailed the will of progress of this country, he messed up this country. How can a governor, just because of one individual, change our currency? The currency was changed because of one particular individual, for his own selfish interest. Because of President Tinubu, Emefiele decided to do everything to change the currency, in damaging, destroying the nation, where many Nigerians died in the course of all this. We can't continue like this.
Let's hope that we're going to see all these allegations, have a conclusive end, because at best there are allegations, and the man in question has been taken to court. But there are also reactions already trailing, the raiding of the Dangote Group headquarters yesterday by the Efcc. Some would say, the Dangote Group is perhaps Africa's largest conglomerate, and that it's troubling that the Efcc could deal with it with such show of force. What do you make of the school of thought that such tactics by the Efcc could discourage foreign investors from coming to Nigeria? Does that make sense to you?
You see, these are the things I always hear often from some of our Nigerians, brothers and sisters. Oh, when you are investigating someone, you are depriving investors, foreign investors, from coming to Nigeria. Come on now. You are able to clean our house, making sure that our house is well cleaned of corruption. Those that are coming in, we understand and know for a fact, don't mess with Nigerian government. You must do the right thing. Just like an American. Today, everywhere, it is known for a fact that as an American, going to go and collect bribe, or China to collect bribe, and if you are caught, you're going for it. There's reprisal, consequence, repercussion. You go in for indefinite, either by firing squad, by hanging, or sentenced for years imprisonment. But in Nigeria, how many people have we put in jail? Look at the Accountant General of recent. We investigated him for over 211 billion naira stolen. That's the same man that went to court, with Babariga. And that's the same man that has been giving chieftains in title, Ikanu, as a hero. as a hero. Those who stole 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 are in jail. No, something needs to be done. We can't continue to live like this. We cannot continue. This is totally wrong. Let the right thing be done. Allow the EFCC to do their job. Until proven guilty, you are innocent. It's an alleged. Let proper investigation be done. Let us not try to whip sentiment. Oh, this is going to stop investors, foreign investors from coming to Nigeria. Come on now. That is nothing but cheap blackmail.
You know, Honorable, it's hard to, determine whether or not the culture of blacklisting persons who have engaged in one corruption practice or the other has been well entrenched in Nigeria, because you see many people who even leave the courts or prisons to return to the society, well accepted and even aspiring to, take leadership positions. But let's bring in an anti-corruption crusader into the mix of this conversation. He's chairman, Human and Environmental Development Agenda Header, Mr. Suraj Olanrewaju. Thank you for joining us on the program. So investigators, I believe you're following the conversation from the US where you're joining us from, I suggest. Investigators, we understand, have in the past months accused the CBN of favoring and enriching some individuals and companies through what they call non-transparent allocation of foreign exchange to them. Do you think we have a track record in this country of seeing investigation of this nature through, especially when it considers, quote and unquote, the high and mighty?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this actually should be for us a welcome development. Unfortunately, because we had reasons where these high-profile corporate persons and also even organizations escaping the hands of the law when it comes to the issue of corruption. And this really, like you said, unfortunately, we don't have this really track record of ensuring that the high-profile persons, really get to face the music as it pertains to the cases of corruption, high-profile corruption cases. And that is why you have quite a number of them even graduating from the National Assembly to become governors, and even some of them also coming back from governors to become ministers, and quite a number of them are even in the current government. Unfortunately, even the Senate president was accused of corrupt practices and even shunned the EFCC investigation, only to go around and become the Senate president. So what you have yesterday with a company like the Dangote is actually a welcome development. It's unfortunate that we've seen where it is not just public office holders alone that are becoming too powerful for the law enforcement agencies to hold to account. But now you have, like I said earlier, corporate establishment. And this is not only just the worst form of impunity that you have in the system. It drives away competition in the system. It also drives away the opportunity to have the economy grow. What you have is a monopoly of only those companies that are favored by certain individuals that are in regulatory and also monitoring agencies within the system.
Indeed. You know that there's a lot of sensationalism that comes with investigation of this type, and we're used to it in Nigeria. A lot of headline, front page reports about an allegation of corruption, but eventually we don't see them through, and that speaks to why we have many people in government today who have had allegations of this type, but they were never convicted. So they will tell you that, that case did not see the light of the day. On the matter of Dangote, there's the FX concession that we've talked about over the years, and that's also one way to explain it, that big companies that provide employment for majority of Nigerians would definitely have some special treatment with the CBN. The question usually has been, what has happened to high-profile corruption cases in the past? Why do you think, we just hear the noise, but we don't see it to conclusion?
Yeah, it is actually not only about government alone or the law enforcement agencies. It is also about media and also the civil society. So we can also be accused of this collective amnesia. And that is why you have quite a number of those individuals and also companies getting away with the blue mother. So we tend to develop this nonchalant attitude to some of those cases. And like you said, we're more interested in just not even a conscious naming and shaming, that you can really appreciate by ensuring that the people who are named are then also publicly shamed. But what we do is just sensationalism to the extent that we only report the news. I saw one of the news reporter, which was reported yesterday, and there was a slant to that case where it was said, openly that, oh, this is one of those cases, and at the same time, as he was reporting as the EFCC visit was reported, the online media was also reporting to the extent of claiming that the corporate body, Dangote, was about taking documents to EFCC. I mean, the media house did not actually state when was the Dangote official invited, when was the invasion happening, so that you can actually tell if truly the documents were taken. So if it was outside the expiration period, and from reliable investigation by our organization, I mean, the invitation was extended almost 3 weeks before the invasion eventually happened. And what you have with this high-profile person is to make efforts within the period of that invitation to start reaching out to high influential persons to prevail on the anti-corruption agency or the leadership of the agency to ward off the invitation or also investigation attempt. So this is for us as civil society and media to ensure that we monitor many of the cases. I mean, for us at my organization, that was where we have, we still currently operate what we call the high-profile corruption cases compendium, where we document on annual basis 100 cases of high-profile corruption cases and give updates to what has happened, how far the case has been going, for how long has it been in court, what are also the challenges delaying the effective and successful prosecution of the cases. So we must actually keep this kind of intervention and tracks to assist the people to understand, and also tell these suspects that we are not going to forget, and also we're going to ensure that we also hold accountable the law enforcement agencies. So both the government, the suspects, and also the judicial system is held to account by our effective monitoring of those cases.
Absolutely. Let me bring Honorable Agbonaima back to this conversation. Honorable, what do you make of the capacity of our anti-graft agencies to effectively fight corruption? Take EFCC, for instance. The previous chairman was suspended last year, for what government calls weighty allegations of abuse of office. Almost every individual who's headed that agency was disgraced out of office, usually with the same corruption allegations they were appointed to fight. Where does this leave the capacity of the agency to deliver?
Well, thank you for that wonderful question. Let me say this, that they all came in with good intention. Down the line, I guess, I don't know what happened. They now failed to adhere to the principle and the oath of defending the Federal Republic of Nigeria and defending Nigerian people. They fell by the wayside. My prayers is that those that are saddled with the responsibility of EFCC, ICPC, even Code of Conduct Bureau where I worked, we should do the needful and do the right thing to support Mr. President. Mr. President cannot do everything. Every Nigerians, patriotic Nigerians, have a role to play. Seeing a crime be committed, failure to report the scene of that crime to the nearest law enforcement agency, you are as guilty as the man or woman who committed that crime. So we are all obligated to join this force, to join Mr. President in winning the fight against corruption. That is the epidemic, that is the cancer that has eaten us deeply. And I'm praying that the new chairman EFCC, haven't read much of him, and some of my friends that have told me how tenacious and commitment and his capacity to drive EFCC to the next step. My prayer is that Nigeria should be among the leading nations. It is possible, it is doable, it is achievable. If all of us collectively join hands with Mr. President to succeed, I am praying. That's my prayer. But I hope that we understand that, look, we took an oath to uphold, to defend the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to fight this menace of corruption, because corruption is our major problem that has eaten us deeply. Nigeria is not broke. If I may recall and tell you, we were talking about Emefiele a while ago. Yes, bank accounts, different bank accounts that I have said before, in the United States, all over the world, billions of dollars in various accounts that are privileged to me, that I saw billions of dollars, not naira, Nigeria's money. Is it about the stamp duties issue that Nigeria is borrowing money against their own money? Emefiele created. Oh, for God's sake. When I see Mr. Emefiele, a Nigerian, could have that tenacity to be wicked, to be stubborn to your own country, to put your people in disarray for your own selfish gain. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What he did, not because he did it to ridicule or to make sure Mr. President Tinubu didn't win, but many lives lost. Nigeria died as a result of his action. So that his action, he should pay dearly for it. He should pay dearly for it. All this rigmarole, I'm sorry to say, let me finish. All this rigmarole and all those going back and forward, giving bail and all that, this is distraction of justice. Justice needs to be done.
I hear you, Honorable.
It's only Nigeria, people steal billions. They steal billions, they are being paraded as if they are heroes. There must be consequences.
That will speak to the need to create a system that will make it impossible for individuals to take advantage, of institutions and, and organizations like the CBN. For instance, why do you think we've not been able to operate a system that has the capacity to detect these corrupt practices and prosecute them in the lifespan of the suspect's tenure in office? Recently, the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs was invited by the EFCC over alleged 37 billion naira fraud. Is it possible to probe these allegations while they're in office?
Let me tell you this, because you brought this matter up about the humanitarian. The former minister, we investigated her. Billions stolen from Nigerian people. Money meant for Nigeria wasn't disbursed. Code of Conduct Bureau did a wonderful job. Our team did excellent job, going from everywhere to monitor, to investigate. Our final report was harnessed. When you see and go back to it, you cry for this nation. But what happened? That report died. Died. Because of what? Code of Conduct Bureau, if we want this country to move on with this fight against corruption, Code of Conduct Bureau must be strengthened, must be empowered, because we have the capacity, the mandate to fight corruption. Nobody is above the law when it comes to Code of Conduct Bureau. We can take on anyone. We can take on anyone as a public officer, up to Mr. President. Yes, but let me tell you, the question you must understand is that there are some people that try to derail the wheel of progress for this country moving forward. It didn't start today. It didn't start yesterday. It's an ongoing. For Code of Conduct Bureau not able to walk, to move, is because some cabal doesn't want us to work. Because we investigated Akata General, over 211 billion that he stole. We investigated Emefiele for billions and trillions that he stole. We investigated humanitarian minister for the billions that belongs to Nigeria that was taken away. What happened to those investigations? What happened? These are the questions that we must ask. our dear people. I am sick. I am weeping for this country. And I'm praying that Mr. President, the new sheriff in town, must clean the house and set every agency to go out and do their mandate. Efcc, ICPC, Code of Conduct Bureau, police, DSS. Come on. Nigeria could be swimming in blessing. God has blessed this country with mineral resources, human capacity, natural resources, but we have been our worst enemy.
Hold that thought for a minute, Honorable. Let me bring Mr. Suraj into this conversation.
So guys, the main question remains if this government is really willing to fight corruption, because some people perceive, Dangote is being raided because, they believe, or this government believes he is one of the close associates to Emefiele. Possibly Emefiele had some dealings with him, and that is why he's being cracked down. And honestly, although we support the fight against corruption, at the same time, let it be done in the right way. Like so many people have condemned the way that the EFCC went to Dangote's office with the media, with security agents in their hundreds. We don't really need it that way. Things should be done maturely so that people will see the genuinity of this government. But when you try to display somebody or to display your own position in that manner, people will start giving so many meaning to it. So I think we should fight corruption, and we should fight it in a way that will be perceived by the public that we are standing neutral, as in this is no political witch hunt. This is just doing the work that the government is supposed to do. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to more people, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.